Hello again and welcome back. Here we go. In today's episode, we are talking about mindfulness. Now, mindfulness, I feel like, is a huge topic and a huge conversation. I think so many other things that we've talked about and will talk about incorporate mindness. Mindfulness is such a part of so many different things that we talk about. And it's a big word. It's a big word and a big concept. And when we talk about mindfulness, I think just to kind of, whittle it down, mindfulness is really just the idea of calming down your mind. It's seeing your mind and your thoughts as just little trickles of clouds passing by. You sit in mindfulness with awareness and no judgment and just letting your mind be, not listening to the noise or having it be jumbled. It's a way for you to when we use mindfulness, we use the techniques that help us to stay present to our lives and not get caught up in the noise that can sometimes, accompany our lives. So we're going to talk about mindfulness today. So before I go any further, I want to bring my dear friend Anna into the conversation. Anna, let's talk about mindfulness. Let's talk about this big topic.
Hi, Mary. Hi, everyone who is listening to each one of us here, Mary and I. So mindfulness is a really powerful technique, and I am so happy that we are bringing this to discuss with each one of you, because for a long time, I had a lot of resistance towards mindfulness techniques, even towards the word mindfulness, because it seemed so hard for me to grasp it. And until the point that I realized, okay, mindfulness is just being, is just like paying attention without judgment. It's just letting it come and go. And when I realized that, it was a change in my life, because now I know that, first of all, there are different techniques to practice mindfulness. So I can choose the ones that resonate better with my life and with my heart. And also, I changed the idea. I understood that mindfulness is not about my mind being blank. I'm not thinking anything. No, it's not. It might be completely the opposite. When I started practicing mindfulness, and in many days that I am a little bit more overwhelmed or stressed, mindfulness is when I sit down, all these thoughts just come and go, and it seems like my mind really can't kind of decrease the speed. And the goodness is just to realize, let them be. Let them come and go. Let them look like as if they are taking the whole time and the whole space, and just do not judge them. Mindfulness is that, the not judgment portion. Just let them be, just let them go. Just because if you give, there is a research that says that if you grab a thought and you give the thought, if you grab the thought and you give it a judgment, then you are making it become the reality at that moment. But if you do not give any judgment, if you do not really pay more than 30 seconds of attention, it will just dissipate. It will just clear from your brain. So it's just the not judgment portion that it's the most important act from the mindfulness technique.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that mindfulness is just being aware of what you're doing. It's being in the present moment. It's living your life in real time, if you will, right? I think that a lot of times we get caught up in thinking and worrying about the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? What am I doing tomorrow? What's that thing? How's that problem going to resolve tomorrow? And that brings so much anxiety. Anxiety is living in the future. It's living a life that we haven't lived yet. You worrying about all of the potential outcomes. So that's the difference between being present, which is what's happening right now, versus living in the future, things you can't control. You don't know what's going to happen. I feel just anxious just talking about it. I mean, that's where anxiety comes into play. Um, and the same, you could say the same thing about regret. When I'm thinking about yesterday, when I'm thinking about something that happened last week, I'm thinking about something that it didn't go very well, and I'm thinking that I wish I had handled something different. I could have said this to someone. I should have done that. I rehash, everything that's happened. Now I'm living in regret. So, living in the past with woulda, shoulda, couldas, that is where regret comes from. And so it's kind of interesting. I think that so rehearsing is where anxiety comes from, and rehashing is where regret comes from. And living presently is where peace comes from. And that is where you enjoy your life. That's where when I'm with my grandchildren and I'm paying attention to what they're saying, what they're giggling, and I'm listening to that giggle and I'm laughing. I am present to that. And that it just fills my heart. So those are the
Yeah.
differences, and I think that the difference, so mindfulness, as you said, is just sitting in peace without judgment, versus when we are thinking, and we're using our thoughts and we're doing thought work, which can be valuable, to sit down and understand what we're thinking and then make choices about those thoughts. But again, that's totally different than mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us with thought work, but it's mindfulness in general that brings us peace. And there are, as you said, there are lots of different techniques, but I wanted to read this quote. I loved it by Thich Nhat Hanh with regards to mindfulness. He wrote, and this was a long time ago. I don't see the date. I thought I did, but okay, this was a long time ago. Every mindful step we make and every mindful breath we take will establish peace in the present moment and prevent war in the future. If we transform our individual consciousness, we begin the process of changing the collective consciousness. I mean, that is, to me, that's so profound because, and I've said this before, and it really helps me, is that I can't change a lot of things that are going around me. I don't always feel impactful on a large scale, let's say. But I know that I can work on me and I can change me. And again, I really believe that that creates a ripple effect. And that is how we change the things. That is how we create the change that we want to see in the world, is when we create change in ourselves. And we do that through the work of mindfulness, which I love. Peace begins with me, right?
Yes,
So,
I love that. I really love that. I heard that, I read that before, like we are not only one drop in the ocean, we are the ocean ourselves. So whatever we bring to the collective, it's going to connect and it's going to expand. So if we bring our mindfulness and our peace and our stillness, it might be only one drop, but in the end, it's the ocean itself, right? And what you talked about, the future and the past, I had anxiety towards the future. And of course, like any other human being, I still have. But when I do, I pause and I realize, I really don't know if when I'm not going to be here in my physical body anymore. But I do know that what I do, that my actions now, they are building whatever amount of future I'm going to have. So I can decrease the anxiety towards the future by acting now. If I plan, if I prepare, if I act on actions that build self-care towards me, or health, or mindfulness, any kind of mental health, physical health, spiritual health, aligned with my soul, I am building the future. So I can decrease the anxiety just by knowing that the future is what I am building now. You know, the future
Absolutely.
is not, yeah, the future is not going to be different from what I am building now. So my choices will generate the future. So again, choose your heart, right? Exercise, eat healthy, sleep well, and you are building a better future. And regarding the past, I really like what Jay Shetty says. The past is a place for reference, not a place for residence.
Mm.
So I like that because the past is where I look back. First of all, I give myself credit, the measured progress. I am where I am now because I used my past and the lessons and the tools and the resources and the knowledge to get where I am. And the pain is a lesson, and the suffering is a lesson, and the sorrow and the longing from grief, all of them are lessons. And I use all of them to be where I am now. And I just keep moving with the lessons and not necessarily with the baggage of pain. I release the baggage of pain through the techniques of mindfulness that Mary is going to discuss here with me and you all.
Yeah, and you know what I love about that too is what you said, that you're creating your future by what you're doing today. And another idea that I really love, I'm not quite sure where it emanated from, but someone that I follow on social media shared it, and I think it comes from I'm sure somebody out there knows, because it comes from a spiritual teacher somewhere along the line. But they say that the present, or today, right now, what's happening for me today is just the past burning off. So, when you say that so right now, it's what is happening right now. What I've created right this minute is from a past decision. What I choose to do also now, it's very funny. Time is a funny construct. What I'm choosing to do right now is also creating my future.
Yep.
So I find that very uplifting, because even if I were in a tough spot right at this moment, if I was feeling unhappy, or if I just wasn't in a good place, I would feel very comforted by knowing that this isn't my future. This is something that happened in the past. This might be a decision or a feeling that I gave a lot of attention to in the past, just fulfilling its natural cycle. And so what I do from this moment forward is now going to create something great tomorrow. I mean, how exciting is that?
Yep. It's your power. It's your power to decrease the anxiety about the future, because somehow what you can control on your future, you are building. There are things that will happen that you cannot control, but why are you suffering for something that you don't even know if it's going to happen, first of all, right? But what you know that is going to happen, it's what you are building right now. So you can decrease the anxiety by building a better future on your actions now.
That's right. What is such a great reframe, So I love that. Um, and I think that when we practice the techniques that we're going to talk about, that you're more able then to quiet your mind. And even if a negative thought or a negative thought pattern was to present itself, you're more able to release that more quickly. Again, in a way that is just kind of, because if you're spending time in mindfulness with no judgment, just observation, when a negative thought pattern is introduced, you're going to be more likely able to release that and not ruminate over it, or create more dissension or more pain in your present. So I love that. So I guess mindfulness. Now, there are so many different ways to practice mindfulness. And as you said, as we, began the podcast, we're going to talk about a bunch of different kinds of techniques. And so for the listener or the person watching, choose whichever resonates more deeply with you, and one that you might find interesting or doable. I know for me, they change, and I love that. So there are formal ways to introduce mindfulness, and there are informal ways. Some of them just involve trying to stay present, during the day to your life, so just trying to be present into your daily life is really mindfulness. Um, I love this practice. If you're curious, there's this one practice. I mean, you can be mindful while you're eating, and I love this one particular practice that I saw once of like eating a raisin or eating like a walnut. If you what you do in this practice is you pretend that you're from outer space and you've just arrived here or whatever, and you take a raisin or a walnut or whatever, a piece of food, and you look at it, you really look at it, and you notice that if it's light or dark, or if there's wrinkles, or if there's bends or whatever it is. So you spend all this time either looking at it, and then you smell it, right? And you maybe put it up to your ear and crinkle it and see if you can hear anything, and you just and feel it, and then taste it, and all of that is a way to practice mindfulness. You could do this with any meal, really. Just really savor it, really enjoy it, really, really take it in. So it's
Yeah.
a funny little mindful practice, but that's one.
I like that you described that because this is the five senses technique, which is a technique of mindfulness that, yes, Mary described for food, but you could definitely do it in any other situation. Like, I am always scared of turbulence. So if I am in an airplane and there is turbulence, I can just calm myself down by being on my seat and use the five senses technique, which is like pay attention to five things. See, what are you seeing? Five things. So if I'm in an airplane, I'm seeing my seat, my clothes, the airplane, and the other people flying with me, and the flight attendant. And then you kind of pay attention to five things that you are seeing. After that, four things that you are feeling. So I could be feeling the pressure of the seat on my body. I could be feeling my shoes, and I could be feeling the air uh, from the airplane, and I could be feeling my clothes. And then three things that I am hearing. So I am hearing my voice, I am hearing the people talking in the airplane, I am hearing the sound of the airplane. And two things that I'm smelling the smell of the airplane, and I'm smelling my own cologne. And one thing that I'm tasting, maybe I'm drinking something, water with electrolytes, or maybe I'm just tasting my saliva. And you can practice that. You can practice as fast as you want. The researchers show that when you are able to practice up to 10 minutes, that's when it really brings you to calming and peacefulness. So again, it can be anywhere. It can be in a grocery store. It can be in a meeting that it's overwhelming you. Or it could just be you, hey, I'm going to sit here on my couch and I'm going to practice 10 minutes of looking around my house and hearing and feeling and smelling and tasting, and just practicing the mindfulness technique and bringing yourself to the goodness of your heart and calming down. And it's the five sense technique. Again, five things you see, four things you feel in your body, three things that you are hearing, two things that you are smelling, one thing that you are tasting. And if you do not have any of these senses available, focus on the ones you have. Like, some people might have visual issues, or might have hearing issues, or you might not have anything for you to taste. But just practice with the senses that you have. Yeah.
I love that too. And it's so funny because it made me think of it's the same technique really, but it is a technique. It was introduced to me under the idea of reducing anxiety, which of course it does because it brings you to the present moment, right? But I saw it, I think originally may have seen it on Better Call Saul. I think if anybody out there has watched that, I didn't so much, but my husband did. And um, he has a brother who's has a disorder of some sort. He's very anxious and he can't go out of the house. And so he learned a technique that, but like when he's in the grocery store, if he becomes overwhelmed, I'm
Yes.
saying it in a joking fashion, but it's true and it's very effective. But I think that he would be in a grocery store, and if he started to have a panic attack, he would say something like orange salmon. He would just start to look around the grocery store, green package. If you're in your house, brown chair. You just start looking around and you start finding things that are around you in detail.
Yep.
So I think that that's a great technique because, and again, it works because it's bringing you to the present moment. So
Yeah. And again, without judgment, it's like brown chair. Oh, it's ugly. No, it's a
no,
brown chair,
it's
period.
just a brown chair,
It's a brown chair. You don't bring any judgment. You just bring what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're tasting.
right.
And what Mary said about the decreasing anxiety, we kind of, it's really important to think and understand that that's exactly what mindfulness does. All the techniques that we are describing that are mindfulness techniques, it would be good if you could practice them, some of them daily, the ones that resonate with you better daily, because they definitely improve your sleep, they definitely decrease anxiety, they definitely decrease depression, they improve your immunity, they improve your ability of fighting cancer, they improve chronic diseases, they improve pain, they decrease cortisol, which is the stress hormone, they improve dopamine, they improve like hormones that are related to your feeling good mood. They improve your resilience, they improve your focus, your memory. They allow you to deal better with stress and overwhelm. So it's just like being present, being still, pausing, and just like improving your optimal performance daily in everything that you are doing, in everything. And again, it's intentional. You put the work, you do the work, and you get the results.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that those are, um, some of the techniques that we're going to be talking about are really specific and really, really helpful. But what's really interesting? Some of us, most of us, probably all of us, do practice mindfulness without even realizing it in some ways. Like when you're exercising, especially if you are in a class and you're taking direction, you're practicing mindfulness. If you have an instructor that tells you to, raise your right arm or lift your knee, you're listening, you're present to what's going on. Yoga, you are present to the pose and the instruction. So, so that's really kind of cool when you think about it that way, that there are, even if you don't use the formal practices as often as you'd like for whatever reason, know that there are times, at least during the day or from time to time, that you're practicing mindfulness, and maybe do those with a little bit more intention too. Like even some of your chores, like maybe loading the dishwasher with intention, noticing that you're putting the plate into the dishwasher. I mean, anything that you can do it without judgment, but with awareness, is a way to practice mindfulness. Folding clothes, but actually noticing without your mind. Usually when I fold clothes, I'll be honest. So when I'm folding clothes, I'm not thinking about the shirt that I'm folding. I'm usually somewhere else. But it would be a great practice to actually notice, the color of the shirt, the texture of the shirt, things like that. So you can practice mindfulness that way. And I think one last informal kind of practice is when you're relating to someone. If I'm talking to you, Anna, and I'm talking to our dear friends, but I can see Anna, And I am, I'm engaged with her. I am present to what she is saying. I'm listening to what she's saying. I'm taking in her beautiful face. I am present to this conversation. I'm in the moment. And, that feels really good. And that is, again, that's where we're living life. That's where I feel most alive, is in the present moment. And another way to do that is to actually connect with the person that you're having a conversation with. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I like that because it's a hearing technique too, right? It's like I'm listening and I am just there. I'm really not thinking on what I'm gonna say next. I'm just there and I'm present. And that gives a feeling of connection, that gives a feeling of safety, that gives a feeling of belonging and acceptance for each one of us just by who we are. And if you guys, any of you, do not believe in mindfulness yet, after all we have said, I want to share one thing here. It's called mindfulness based stress reduction. There were studies done in 1979 at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, and they proved that when people start a training program of mindfulness based stress reduction, they definitely showed decreasing stress, improving pain from chronic illness, improving the immune system, decreasing burnout, decreasing overwhelm, decrease in exhaustion, sharpened attention skills, improving working memory. So it's really important to understand that simple things like breathing or walking or what Mary said, connecting and folding your clothes could bring you to a state of mind that is so amazing for your own health, mental, physical, and spiritual. Tim Ferriss, the author of the book Tools of Titans, he interviewed 200 billionaires, icons, and world-class performers. And do you know what 80% of these people had in common? 80% of them engage in some form of daily mindfulness practice. And again, it's 10 minutes. It's super easy. It's super, in the beginning, it probably might be like for me in the beginning was like, oh man, I don't have 10 minutes. Yes, you do. You have 10 minutes to doom scroll in your phone. You have 10 minutes to sit outside and just do a mindfulness practice because doom scrolling on your phone is damaging your brain, and the mindfulness practice will bring you health, optimal health. Here we go. There's a mindfulness practice will not prevent or cure disease, but if done daily, it definitely provides benefits for your life. For example, just 3 days of mindfulness training produces a short term decrease in molecules that build inflammation in your body. Again, we go to the visceral fat, the inflammation, the chronic disease, the cancer, the prediabetes, the diabetes, the insulin resistance. Look at that mindfulness. 3 days of mindfulness already decreased the inflammation in your body. 30 hours of practice of mindfulness led to lower levels of stress hormone cortisol, improved your overall mental health. They did a study, the University of California, Santa Barbara, did a study with students in high school, and they saw that when they engaged in 2 weeks of mindfulness, they had 16% higher score in their GRE, Graduate School Access Exam. So see, mindfulness does not result in lifelong health and wisdom. However, the practice of mindfulness will give you rewards that are for life. And again, just 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. And we are going to discuss techniques like walking. Mary already discussed the 5 sense technique. And I want to discuss one technique that I've learned from Mel Robbins in a course that I'm doing with her. And it's called the silent walk. Again, 10 minutes. It's a silent walk. It could be also, if you are not able to walk, it could be also sitting outside in your patio or in a park, or just if you are not able to get out of your house, just sitting close to the window and opening the window and just letting the outside come to to connect with you. So it's mainly, again, it's silent, and her description is clear. No podcast. So you're not going to listen to us. You're going to listen to us when you finish your silent 10-minute walk. But no podcast, no music, no books, audible books, and no phones in your hands. You're going to put your phone in a pocket, you're going to put your phone in a purse, but definitely no phone, because the phone, just the presence of the phone, that our research is showing that just the presence of the phone alters the whole interaction of your brain with you and with others. So you're going to go for a walk and you're going to enjoy the surroundings, or you're going to sit outside and enjoy the surroundings. And you're going to let the flow of the thoughts come and go without judgment. And you're going to do that daily. And again, what studies have shown is that a 10-minute silent walk makes you feel mentally clear. It's a process called forward ambulation. You are walking and you are moving your body, and your head is kind of leaned down a little bit and forward a little bit. And that improves the flow in your brain and allows the clearing of the thoughts that don't belong. The brain changes signals just by walking and moving your head. By that, the silent walk boosts your mood, increases dopamine, increases endorphins, the feel good, and decreases cortisol. Because of that, of course, you're going to be more productive, more focused, with more energy, with improved creativity, and it's going to be easy to handle stress during the day with a better flow of energy and a better flow of thoughts. You're going to sleep better, especially if you are walking, when you can regulate your circadian rhythm in the morning or during sunset. And you're going to have your minutes of quiet that you can just rearrange your thoughts. You can just like be with you. You can just do the breathing work, and you can just look around and be grateful and practice gratitude. And again, we said that before about walking. When you are walking, you are exercising your muscles and you are improving the circulation and the blood flow in your body. And you are building muscle, you are building bones, and you are releasing molecules called myokines, which are molecules of hope. So you are improving your mood and you are improving your health, mental and physical. And one other thing is that when you are walking and you are doing your breathing exercise, you are decreasing inflammation. And it's very important that you do the nose breathing, because the nose breathing is when you even produce more nitric oxide for your oxygen in your body. Go ahead, Mary.
I love it. And that's true. And, I also had sort of on one thing that I practice, and one thing that I was going to talk about kind of piggybacks on that, is a nature walk, but a nature walk with mindfulness, intentional mindfulness, intentional awareness. Like when you're walking, really look at the leaves on the trees, look at the grass, look at your environment, really notice it. What are you smelling again? Like just with all of your senses, really take in, and it's, gosh, I really don't know of that many other experiences that are much more uplifting than when I'm doing that. When I'm walking and I'm noticing nature and I'm looking at the sky, and the sun is so pretty, or it's either it's in the morning or at night, all of those things. When I'm seeing animals, or I look at, I find a bunny or a cardinal, or any of those things, it is so uplifting. But so when you're and I am so present to it. I mean, it is, and I think that's where the joy comes from, right? Because living in the present moment is what brings you peace and joy. And it is palatable, and you can really feel it. And so I love the nature walk. I love the walk. I love the the walking with intention, and the walk, the stillness walk that you've shared. I think that walking and doing different kinds of walks with that intention can be so powerful and so helpful.
Yeah.
So,
And I love it because, like we have said before in other episodes too, I love how when you do one thing, suddenly you are doing
mm,
many other ones together, and you are stacking strategies and habits that are improving your mental health, improving your body, physical health, and just improving yourself. It's like you are walking at the same time that you are walking and doing the silent 10-minute walk. At the same time, you could be doing the five senses, like Mary says, looking at the animal, looking at the grass. At the same time, you could be enjoying the sun and getting your sleep better because of the circadian rhythm and getting sun in your body as well. And at the same time, you could be doing grounding and just like walking without your shoes in the grass. And one thing just can sum up with another, and you are doing many things together that will create an exponential result of benefit to you. And it's easy because they are all together. It's a package, right? You're getting a package of wellness, a wellness package in 10 minutes. And then
right.
after you finish the silence, you can listen to a podcast, you can do an audible book, you can do whatever you want, and you are still going to be increasing knowledge and improving yourself overall, like, right? It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
And
you
then
may not
after
even,
that, you can do the breathing techniques.
and you don't even know that I mean, and all you may be noticing in that moment when you're doing it is that this feels great, but you're doing all of those
Yeah.
amazing things. It's incredible. And then, yes, and then there's breath work. There's lots of different ways to breathe. Um, that can enhance whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. So there's the 4-7-8 breathing that has been shared by numerous teachers. Dr. Wheel shared it for anxiety and for sleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night, there's 4-7-8 breathing that if you do like 4 rounds of it, inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale through kind of pursed lips for 8, do 4 rounds of that, and it calms your nervous system, helps you to relax and get back to sleep. There's something called box breathing where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you exhale for 4, and you hold again for 4. They all have different goals perhaps, but they're very effective, and they are a way to practice mindfulness, to bring you to the present moment because you're concentrating on your breath. And Anna, you had some breath work techniques that you wanted to share, right?
Yes. So, first of all, I just want to go back where Mary said, when you are doing all these techniques, you're not even gonna see them as
Yeah.
to-do lists. You're gonna just feel good. But you know what?
And you're
When
going
you
to want to do it
finish,
again and again.
you're
Right, go
going
ahead.
to want to do it again and again. Exactly. And one thing too is that when you finish, you can celebrate yourself. You can say, hey, I accomplished one thing that is good for me. And Mary's going to talk about this, about the self-love techniques. So again, the regarding breathing, what I really like is what she explained. There are different techniques. You can research the techniques that are good for you, but mainly is like if you want to calm yourself down, you do a short inhale and a long exhale. The longer your exhale, the more you're going to be calming yourself down. But if you are sleepy and if you are sluggish and if you are gonna have a meeting or a presentation and you are like, man, I need to study, I need to work, and you need energy, that's the opposite. You do a long inhale and a sharp exhale very fast, like that. And you do more than one, of course, and you're gonna energize yourself, like you're gonna be priming your body to build energy to really do the task that you have
You
ahead
can,
of us,
you can
ahead of
really
you.
feel that one. That's great. I just did it.
Yeah.
It feels really
Yes. So it's like long inhale, super short exhale with your mouth. It's for energy. Short inhale, very long exhale. It's for calm. And it's important for you to research that you want to learn to do diaphragmatic breathing, which is the breathing through your abdomen, through your belly, not really only filling your lungs, but really breathing with your belly, expanding your belly as if you're pregnant, and then bringing your belly as if you're going to collapse to your spine. So that's how you want to do it. And you want to do it to nose breathing again. Like I said, the nose, you have a nose with a purpose. It filters the germs from the air, it humidifies the air, it warms the air, and again, releases more nitric oxide, which is good for your body and for circulation and for your heart and for your blood pressure and everything. And one technique, again, that I do love, and it's also calming, and I also use, again, when I am under turbulence, it can be in an airplane or turbulence in my life. It's the vagus nerve technique, which ties to the self-loving technique that Mary is going to describe too. And again, I've learned with Mel Robbins in the course that I'm doing. So you put your hands in your heart, you close your eyes, and you take a short breath and a long exhale. And you do that for 3 or 5 times. You do that for as many times you need to calm down. And when you finish, you just tell yourself, I am safe, I am loved, I am well. I am safe, I am loved, I am well. And you are calming yourself. It's a vagus nerve technique. So the vagus nerve is the nerve that it's from the parasympathetic system, from your nervous system, and it's the portion of your nervous system that calms you down, that decreases cortisol, that decreases stress. And when you are doing the vagus nerve technique of breathing, you are doing diaphragmatic breathing, you are also working your phrenic nerve, for those of you who like to know the physiology. So you're also working your phrenic nerve. So that's when you are calming down. And humming also is similar. It's vagus and phrenic nerve and diaphragm. So these are techniques that can calm you down, and these are mindfulness techniques. And when you are saying, I am safe, I am loved, I am well, you are telling your amygdala, the alert system in your brain, calm down, life is good, I am good, and we can do it. We got this. And go on. And Mary's going to describe a little bit more of these loving techniques.
Well, I loved that because even just even the words "I am loved" or "I am safe," "I am loved," "I am well," I think are just so calming. I felt my shoulders relax as you were just describing that technique. So,
Yep.
that is just beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. I love that one. I love them all. That one just really, I just felt that one too. I really loved that. Um, so other mindful techniques, of course, any kind of and meditation is for mindfulness. I love some of the apps like Calm and like Insight Timer. I'll use those a lot. They are very relaxing. They have so many guided meditations um, for topic related, for peace or for healing, for abundance, lots of different topics for sleep. Those are all really good. And they have like mindful body scan meditations, which are really lovely. And they certainly bring you into the present. So I love them. And they love those mindful meditations. They're so great. If you feel that meditation is difficult for you, or if you just, because if you're just thinking that you're sitting in stillness is just impossible for you. I'm not saying don't keep trying it, because I heard this the other day, can't remember where it was, but it was like if you wanted to learn a foreign language, uh, Mandarin, I think was the example, you wouldn't listen to an audio for 10 minutes twice and then decide that you're never ever going to be able to learn Mandarin. You would have to listen for hours and hours and hours. You would have to keep trying, and it's true. Eventually you do get to the place where you're able to just observe and still. So my suggestion or invitation would be to just keep trying that. But in the meantime, if that feels really challenging, don't Insight Timer is free. Calm has a free version. Download the app, do a body scan, or listen to a calming, relaxing meditation that will bring you to the present. That is a great way to clear your head and to, again, come back to the present moment,
Yes.
so there's that one.
Yeah, and you could look at YouTube videos. They have yoga nidra, they have sound baths. And again, I am a person who like I said in the beginning, I had resistance towards mindfulness practices. I had resistance towards meditation, and I am choosing the ones I like better. So I like the breathing techniques, I like the silent walk, I like the five senses technique. So you choose what resonates better with you and do it, because you're going to start craving that. You're going to start craving that.
You are.
And since I am a foreign person and I had to learn English, I love the Mandarin. I love the Mandarin comment, because again, that is definitely true. You know, if you want to do something that is going to be positive for you have to put the effort. You have to make your choice. You have to put the work. And suddenly it's going to become automatic. It's going to become instinctive. Like I can sit down here and talk about mindfulness in English, and I am not translating that from Portuguese to English. So now I can sit outside and practice the five senses and just feel good. And I can be in the middle of a work day that it's overwhelming and I'm tired, and I can think, oh, you know what? I'm just going to sit outside and I'm going to just close my eyes and I'm going to just breathe, or I'm just going to be looking. Either I'm going to do the silent sitting outside with my eyes closed and I practice some gratitude in my brain, or I'm going to do the five senses technique, and I'm craving that. And it became like instinctive, like speaking a foreign language. Do I have my accent? Yes. Am I going to have my accent forever? Yes. So is it going to be some days difficult to practice the mindfulness techniques because I go back to my accent of not doing it before? Yes. But is it worthy? Yes. And again, it's about choosing your heart. So you have to choose today the things that are going to bring joy and peace and the future, that you don't have to be anxious about it. It's about doing today. So do your mindfulness practice today.
It's true. And as you said, and it's so true, if it feels hard today, and it probably will, because any change is hard, I mean,
Yep.
being human and changing is difficult, it's challenging, so, but when you do it, it doesn't it is not permanent. It might start out feeling challenging or difficult, but then it's not. And you begin to look forward to it, and the benefits are just so outweigh the initial challenge. It's
Absolutely.
incredible. So I love that. And then the other one there was a couple others that I wanted to share, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but there are other techniques that you can use, like morning pages, which is something like in the morning, you do it as quickly as you can to when you woke up. And you basically take a sheet of paper, you set your timer for 20 minutes. You just do what I call is kind of like a mind dump or a stream of consciousness. You're not trying to write something creatively. You're just trying to kind of just purge your mind, purge your brain of maybe leftover thoughts. Sometimes when we're dreaming, we have thoughts, or our mind is busy, sometimes even in sleep. So you wake up and you feel out of sorts. You don't really know why. You may have had a dream that was disturbing that you don't remember. You sit down, you do 20 minutes of morning pages that are for your eyes only. You can burn it, you can rip it up when you're done. You don't have to keep it. But 20 minutes of just kind of letting that out creates a new canvas for the day, and is very calming for your mind. So there's morning pages. And then one that we've talked about in other podcasts that we'd like to is sort of a mindful review of the day, like when you're before you're going to bed, or sometimes I do it in bed. I do it in bed, but you don't have to. But you just kind of start with your day and kind of go through the day and just kind of you're present to what has happened during the day. You're just thinking about your day. So that's kind of that's a mindful review of the day. That's an evening meditation, if you will.
And on
So
that, you could do the gratitude practice, right? In your mindful review, you could always do the gratitude practice together.
absolutely. And that's a form of mindfulness because
Yeah.
you're actually present to what you're grateful for. So
Yeah.
I mean, so that works really well too. And that's a fantastic one. Um, I guess the last one that I have, unless you have anything you want to add to that, Anne, I don't.
No.
The last one I wanted to talk about is the mindful self-compassion meditation, which I think is such a beautiful and powerful meditation. And might I add, maybe one that is so needed in today's world, so helpful in terms of um, a becoming mindful and loving towards yourself, and then using that feeling of mindfulness and lovingness toward yourself, and then extending that outward. It's a beautiful practice, and there are guided self-compassion meditations that you can, again, look up on YouTube. I bet they have them in Insight Timer. I don't think I've ever listened to one there, but I'm sure they have them. But it's very simple and it's very easy. And I wanted to describe that for you because I love it. Um, you basically just sit in silence, maybe close your eyes and repeat to yourself, hands on heart. I kind of like that, may I be safe. May I be healthy. May I have ease of body and mind. May I be at peace. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I have ease of body and mind. And may I be at peace. So I repeat that to myself, a couple of times. And then I think about um, benefactors or my teachers or people who have inspired me. And then I do the same thing with practice, or I do the same practice with them, with someone. I try to visualize someone who inspires me. And then I send that to them and I say, may you be safe. May you be healthy. May you have ease of body and mind. And may you be at peace. And then from that, then I think about, I think about my loved ones, I think about my children, my grandchildren, and I repeat those words for them. And then I think of, people that I interact with during the day that I don't know, but not well, but they're acquaintances or people I wave to. They might be my neighbors. And I think of them, I visualize them, and I send that out to them. And then you keep doing that. And then you think about people that you don't know, maybe the people in my city or, my city in general. I'll repeat that for all of those people. And then I'll think of, someone who I've had challenges with, someone that has been difficult for me, someone who triggers me maybe sometimes. I think about them and then I think to that, this is so powerful. And I think of them and I think, may you be at peace. May you have ease of body and mind. May you be healthy and may you be at peace. And then finally, I might say that for the whole world, and I think that even just doing that, just giving that little summary, can you feel how that is just expanding? It just expands outward. And I think that makes us not only more loving and kind and compassionate to ourselves, but it helps us to feel that way to people, other people, and with the world at large. And that kind of comes right back to the Thich Nhat, did I say that right? On quote that I read at the beginning. It sounded weird. And, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. And I expand that outward and we change the collective consciousness. So,
Yes, I love that. I love that because faith is something really important for me. And I see peace be with you, right? Peace be with you. And peace being with you will expand towards you because we are one drop in the ocean and the ocean itself. And I love that. So again, my invitation for everybody who is listening to this podcast is choose one of these techniques that we described that resonates with you, that feels less overwhelming, that feels like less stressful, and try it for a week, and daily 10 minutes, try it for a week and feel in your body the changes. So then you're going to really see that what we are saying is a life experience that will never, it will change you to a way that you would never expect, and definitely will decrease the anxiety from the future because you're going to be building your life daily at each and every second. And again, what we described, you can do the 5 senses, you can do the walk in silence, you can do the sit outside in silence, you can do the self-compassion, self-love, you could do the breathing techniques for energy or for calming, you could do the meditation, or journaling and gratitude. Just do what resonates with you. And what a beautiful way of starting your day, like Mel Robbins teaches in the course. What a beautiful way of starting your day, just looking in your mirror and not, you don't even have to say anything. You could say, I love you. And that would be awesome. Even if it feels awkward, with time, it's going to be getting better and better. Or you could say thank you, and that would be awesome. But you know what? Just put your hands in your heart and high five yourself. You don't have to say a word. High five yourself, because high five is a celebrating uh, movement. So you are celebrating yourself as soon as you look in your eyes. So look in your eyes in the mirror and high five yourself and give yourself the sense that you are safe, that you are well, that you are loved, that you are lovable, and that beyond anything, that you see you, that you hear you, that you understand you, and that you honor you. And that's the main thing. You are your safe place. You are your heaven on earth by your own actions daily. And that's what we wish for each one of you. We wish for each one of you all this goodness from your soul because we love you and we just want you to keep living.
With grace.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, on that note, we want to wish you so much love, so much peace, and so much grace. We will be back with you again really soon. Until then, take really, really, really good care of you. Bye bye.